Stocks ease off after a strong open today. Autos as well as real estate eke out gains, while IT and FMCG drag and midcaps fare better.
Tata Motors plans to vertically split its passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles business into separate listed entities with mirror shareholding to empower them and exploit synergies. The street cheers the move.
Reserve Bank of India asks IIFL Finance to stop sanctioning and disbursing gold loans. The move, IIFL says, relates to non-compliance on cash dispersals and some discrepancies on gold valuation, both of which it aims to resolve, IIFL says. The stock slides even as those of peers like Muthoot Finance and Manappuram get a boost.
And Bajaj Auto CEO Rajiv Bajaj tells CNBC-TV18 the fair value of the company's share in his mind is 12,000, higher than the buyback price of rupees 10,000. He also promises to launch the world's first CNG bike within the next quarter and the biggest Pulsar model next year.
Bitcoin scales to near $69,000 as ETF funds notch up record volumes and over $120 million of crypto shorts get liquidated. Options data point to traders betting on Bitcoin scaling past $70,000. Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me as always is Pavitra Parekh. So Pavitra, at the moment we are seeing a very flattish sentiment and actually Nifty 50 has just dipped into the red. Yeah. But it's the bank Nifty which is really stealing the show today. So Nifty 50 at 22,398 just let go of 22,400 levels, but just yesterday it had touched record high. So at the moment, flattish sentiment there. Sensex too, flattish in trade right now. Midcaps, they are down 0.3%, and it's Bank Nifty which has notched up 0.5% and maintains that at the moment. On my screen, Tata Motors, Bharti Airtel, and remember Tata Motors on account of the demerger of the two businesses, commercial vehicle and PV, is one of the big reasons, and that's also taken a lot of other auto companies up. Bharti Airtel is another one gaining in trade, but State Bank of India is adding a lot of might to the market. Pavitra.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it has been a bit weak, but we are recovering right now. You know, there has been a bit of a recovery that has come through in the market, especially on the Nifty. So we're just around 12 points lower right now, like you can see pretty much at the high point of the day. And this recovery has come through pretty sharp, you know, even on the mid-cap index, it is 0.3% lower, but we are seeing a little bit of a pickup. What stands out and what is the same as yesterday is that the mid-cap and small-cap are definitely suffering a bigger cut than we are seeing on the frontline index, which is why you have such a negative-looking advanced decline ratio. It's almost 1:2 in terms of advanced to decline. What is doing well? You have some pockets like Nisha was pointing out, the auto pack doing well, you have the real estate pack doing well. But on the downside, all of the IT companies are under pressure, the larger names. To add to that, you have Reliance, HDFC, which are seeing pretty big cuts. One pocket which does manage to see some amount of gains is some of the smaller banks. So something like an IOB, UCO Bank, you have a central bank, which are holding up a little bit better than, you know, what you're seeing in terms of just the index. So that's what's happening in terms of the market action. But like we were mentioning, it is really the auto pack which has it today. So let's kickstart the show by talking about the top Nifty gainer, which is Tata Motors. It surges in trade after the company has announced a demerger into two separate listed entities. So Sonia is here to break down all of the details for us and get us more. Sonia.
Well, this is great news for the shareholders because Tata Motors finally has decided to demerge its companies into two separate entities. One will house the commercial vehicle space and the other one will house the passenger vehicle space, which will include passenger vehicles, electric vehicles and JLR that will all be under one company. But the big question we're asking this afternoon is why did they decide to do the demerger now? In terms of a timeline, if you look at it, all three companies have been increasing both their revenues as well as their profitability over the past couple of years. First, let me explain to you what the business is like currently. In FY23, if you look at it, the largest chunk of their revenues comes from Jaguar Land Rover, which is 65%, followed by the commercial vehicle business, and then the passenger vehicle business. However, if you look at the passenger vehicle business, which is now growing very fast in the domestic space, the turnaround for the passenger vehicle business has been quite, sort of astounding over the last many years. The market share has gone from mid-single digits to 13.5% as of 9 months of FY24, and they now have 75% market share in the electric vehicle space. Even if you look at the EBITDA margins of the passenger vehicle business, right? In FY20, they had negative 9.4% EBITDA margins, and now that has risen to 6.7% in FY24. So this is the kind of improvement that we've seen in the passenger vehicle business. JP Morgan put out a note where they said that the India business is valued at 480 rupees a share, and the passenger vehicle business is valued at 15 times EV to EBITDA. Let's move now to the Jaguar Land Rover business, which is back to health in a big way. There's been a substantial improvement in the last few years. In fact, in the quarter gone by, JLR raised its FY24 EBIT margin guidance for the second consecutive quarter, and now the EBIT margin is expected to be over 8% for FY24. Not just that, the balance sheet has been improving for Jaguar Land Rover as well. They continue to expect free cash flow of over £2 billion in FY24, and the net debt is expected to reduce to less than £1 billion by the end of FY24. Now, let's also talk a little more about the CV business, right? Over there, if you look at it, this is how the margin trajectory has been for CVs. In FY20, they barely enjoyed 4% margins. As of by the end of FY24, Motilal Oswal has forecasted a 10.6% EBITDA margin in the commercial vehicle space. And the commercial vehicle business is valued at 9 times EV to EBITDA. Now, let's look at what brokerages are saying. UBS put out a view where they said that this is a positive for the company. It definitely simplifies the structure, unlocks shareholder value, but they don't see a material value unlocking because the price has already risen quite a bit. Morgan Stanley says the demerger reflects confidence in the passenger vehicle business being self-sustaining. JP Morgan says the demerger might lead to better value discovery, and InCred says that yes, the sentiment will be positive, but there are no major changes in the business compared to what we've seen earlier. Let me leave you with the target prices. Remember, Tata Motors is now above 1,000 rupees, but if you look at it, most on the street continue to be at around 1,000 rupees plus on on the stock. One that is missing, of course, here is Motilal Oswal, where they have downgraded the stock to a neutral this morning with a target price of 1,000. So, slight bit of caution over here, but otherwise, most brokerages seem to be bullish on the stock. Back to you.
All right, Sonia, thanks so much for getting all the insights on this big news coming in from Tata Motors. Now, moving on, IIFL Finance is under a lot of pressure after the Reserve Bank of India directed the company to stop sanctioning or disbursing new gold loans with immediate effect. Ritu Singh, my colleague, joins in with all the details on this development. Tell us, Ritu.
That's right, the Reserve Bank has barred IIFL Finance from sanctioning or disbursing any new gold loans, even securitizing, assigning or selling the gold loans with immediate effect owing to material supervisory concerns. They can only continue to service the existing gold loan portfolio through the usual collection and recovery process. Now, RBI said that this action was prompted by material concerns in the gold loan portfolio of the company, from deviations in certifying the purity of gold during the sanction of loans, even during auctions to recover money after default, breaches in loan-to-value ratio, significant disbursals of loan in cash amounts in excess of the limit that is allowed, the general lack of transparency in customer charges, and so on. And RBI said, despite repeated engagements with the management and auditors on this, there was no meaningful corrective action leading to this action from RBI. But RBI will review the restrictions after the completion of a special audit instituted by RBI and the rectification by the company of the audit and RBI inspection findings to RBI's satisfaction. Now, gold loans constitute nearly 32% of IIFL's AUM at more than 24,600 odd crores with 19 lakh active customers. So, needless to say, a big hit for the company. Now, in a con call earlier today, the management indicated that RBI's comments were based on its inspection that came in January, and the action was taken by RBI very quickly thereafter, even as the company was engaged with the regulator to rectify this matter. The management said they were already in compliance with most issues issues pointed out by RBI except in cash disbursals. Even there, they said that every other NBFC on the street is doing cash disbursals of more than 2 lakh in gold loans, which is far above the limit of 20,000 rupees. Also, clarifications that there were no governance issues whatsoever that RBI has pointed out, or any KYC, AML lapses. Now, during the course of the call, management also repeatedly saying that while RBI's action may seem harsh, it will be good for the company in the long term and help it emerge stronger.
All right, Ritu, thanks a lot for bringing us all of those details. Now, while IIFL Finance continues to be strapped by RBI's regulatory move, shares of other gold financiers like Muthoot Finance and Manappuram Finance are thriving despite the central bank's discomfort with cash disbursements going up to 2 lakh rupees against the limit of 20,000 rupees. So you have Muthoot Finance and Manappuram on your screen, which are, well in the green, around 3 to 4% of a pop on each of those names.
All right, so that's a big development in that space and impacting all the companies that are linked to that particular sector. Now on to a big corporate announcement for today, and Rajiv Bajaj, in an exclusive conversation with CNBC-TV18, says that Bajaj Auto will launch the world's first CNG bike in the next quarter, ahead of earlier estimated launch timeline. He also promises to launch the biggest Pulsar model next year. Listen in.
By the end of this year, very early into the next financial year, we will launch the biggest Pulsar ever. So, Pulsar is really driving a lot of our performance for the last few months. I said to you that within the calendar year 25, we hope to be the first in the world to launch such a motorcycle. But today I'm going to tell you, we are so encouraged by the results we've seen from the testing that we are actually able to prepone that by a whole year. So within this calendar year 24, in the very near future, I think you will see us announce the world's first CNG motorcycle. In terms of fair valuation, I mean, without taking any names, all I would say is that in my head, I have a basket of companies that I think Bajaj Auto can be compared with in terms of its performance, in terms of its PE, in terms of its future prospects, let's say, etc. And frankly, to me, although the stock has moved up from 4,000 through 6,000 to 8,000, in my head, and as I said, I'm a layman in these matters, something closer to 12,000 sounds fair value, as you called it. So who knows, there might be another buyback in the near future.
All right, that is the word coming in from Rajiv Bajaj, talking about the fair value that he thinks is for Bajaj Auto, and also some big announcements on Pulsar and the CNG motorcycle. But with that, we're going to get into a short break. When we come back, we will take stock of all of the political currents that hold sway in the state of Maharashtra. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Business Lunch, and with just 48 Lok Sabha seats, Maharashtra is the second highest contributor to the lower house of the parliament. This, of course, makes it a very crucial state for the general elections. Now, as part of our election exchange special coverage of the 2024 general elections, we have Santya, who takes stock of the political currents that really hold sway in the state and reports that the impact of the results will be more than just about national governance. Take a look.
The 2019 general election saw the then saffron alliance of BJP and Shiv Sena trouncing stiff opposition from the Congress and NCP, winning 41 out of the 48 seats available. In the last 5 years, a lot has changed. The Shiv Sena has been split into two factions, as has the NCP. As elections 2024 nears, the Eknath Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena and the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP are standing with the BJP and believe victory is just a technicality.
हमारा एजेंडा यही है कि यहाँ महाराष्ट्र से 45 प्लस सीटें मोदी जी को देनी है. मोदी जी को फिर प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनाना है.
BJP and its allies believe the Modi wave, which gained in strength between 2014 and 2019, will push them to victory once again. They are also banking on large infrastructure projects like the Atal Setu to smooth the way. But the opposition says this will not be enough to do the trick this time, nor will the Ayodhya temple resonate here.
राम मंदिर का या प्रभु रामचंद्र का नाम लेकर इनको लगा था कि हम लोग सत्ता तक पहुंच जाएंगे, 400 पार कर लेंगे, आज वो पीछे उठ गए। जो लोगों को चाहिए, रोजगार की आवश्यकता होती है, तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट तो मिल ही नहीं रहा है। उसमें कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल पूरा का पूरा जितना भी गवर्नमेंट सर्विसेज है वो उसमें डाल दिया गया। बहुत लोग युवा परेशान हैं, महंगाई नहीं तो कम हुआ ही नहीं।
Opposition is also counting on a sympathy wave to work in favor of Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar, who have both lost their parties in positions of power due to politicking by the BJP.
More than sympathy, I would look at how people perceive it as betrayal. When I talk about betrayal, is how our party was betrayed, and before that, how Balasaheb Thackerayji's party, that is the original Shiv Sena, was betrayed. When they are betrayed, people decide to go with the original party that is there.
Experts, however, say the BJP is sure to have a strategy to counter any such sympathy.
They want Shinde basically to cut or eat into Uddhav Thackeray's traditional Shiv Sena and Marathi Manus. And in case of Ajit Pawar, he is being looked at basically to eat into major votes from Western Maharashtra, part of North Maharashtra, where the cooperative movement is quite strong. So, whole it put together, Mahashakti is definitely looking at this is the challenge, but that is workable.
At a more fundamental level, every party looking to score political points will have a host of issues to address. From anger over Maratha reservations to farmer distress to corruption to rising inflation. And fighting within the alliances themselves will also be a factor. Political experts believe that as the elections come closer, there will be stronger possibilities of more changes to the existing political alliances, especially because the result of the Lok Sabha elections will automatically play a huge role in how the upcoming Maharashtra State Assembly elections play out. This means that for all the players in the political playground of Maharashtra, the stakes in general elections are much higher, and being defeated or playing for the losing side could have long-term ramifications. In Mumbai, with camera person Ajay Dabholkar, Santya for CNBC-TV18.
All right, so that was an account of the Game of Thrones in the political arena in the state of Maharashtra. More to come as we get closer to the union elections. With that, it's a break on Business Lunch. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18 for more news and updates on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch, and let's talk about the crypto world, where Bitcoin has topped the $68,000 mark, while Ether tops levels of $3,600. In fact, our commodities and our cryptocurrency editor Manisha Gupta is right here to give us a roundup of all that's buzzing in the crypto world. Manisha.
Well, it has been a one big surge that we have seen come in for the cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, which is very close to its all-time highs of 68,990. We've almost done 68,800 there, so it clearly is inches away from there. If you look at the prices, we've gained up by nearly 59% in this year until now for Bitcoin, and the market capital of $1.3 trillion is back in case of Bitcoin, not too far away from the global silver market capitalization, which is at $1.4 trillion. The markets also are looking at Ether, which has jumped up by nearly 62% in this year. This is the first time that Ether is trading above 3,600, which is the highest since Jan 2022. The meme coins like a Dogecoin is up 30% in last one day. Shiba Inu is up by nearly 60%. So we have seen very strong gains come across cryptos and altcoins as well. Well, crypto shorts also seem to be getting squeezed. If you look at the short positions, nearly 500 million million worth of that has been liquidated in last matter of couple of weeks. Overnight has been up to the tune of 120 million as well. ETF funds, Bitcoin spot funds have seen a lot of buying come in as well. They are trading at record volumes as we see it right now. And there are big bets coming in for the NFTs and also the DeFi applications and apps also. The markets do believe that the open interest, the way it is right now, which has been the highest since the month of October, can only grow from here as we see more longer positions being created into this one. It is overdone, overshot in a very short period of time. And even as the analysts and institutions are betting that the Bitcoin options, which the highest being traded at 70,000 is not too far away, but the markets do believe that a correction is something that you should be ready for as well.
All right, maybe ready for a correction. Manisha, thanks a lot for bringing us all of those details. Truly a stupendous move that we've seen on Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptos as well. With that, we're out of time on this edition of Business Lunch. Thanks for tuning in. Midcap Radar is up next.